short. Tookie Johnson at second base, and co-captain Pete Bush at first. The other captain, Mike Bianco, behind the plate. And lean right-hander Russ Springer is on the mound. Mentioned in the open, coming off arm surgery, had a little particle of cartilage removed from that shoulder, but was a projected #1 pick along with Ben McDonald until that surgery. And you see pretty good numbers right there. The thing I see tonight, Ron, with his three-quarter motion and throws across his body just a little bit with all the left-hand hitters for Miami, that could give him a little problem. A little easier to see that ball as a left-hand hitter with that three-quarter motion.
Jim, the first man he's going to face is Jose Trujillo, the senior out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Trujillo was really a thorn in the side of the Tigers the last time they met because of those highlights we showed you just a moment ago. He was on base both times with a base hit in the first and also a base hit in the third, and came around on the home runs by Vespi and then Santangelo. Loser goes home. Winner will take on Texas on Thursday night. Bob Roberts behind the plate. Bob Jones is at first, Dale Williams at second, and Ron Graham is at third tonight.
What kind of confidence Skip Bertman has in Russ Springer, what he thinks of him as a pitcher. You know how he always calls the pitches and the signs? He doesn't do that with Springer. This guy calls his own game like that.
One count. Pitch misses. He went a little farther with that also in explaining why he allows him to call his own game. I think it was because of after the injury and the surgery.
Yeah, part of it is he feels that Springer knows how his arm feels. He doesn't want to call for a curveball, for example, and have Springer out there saying, hey, my shoulder doesn't really feel that good. I'd rather not throw a curveball right now. So he lets him throw what he wants to.
Count goes full on Jose Trujillo. Santangelo is next, and then Will Vespi, who was the DH and also pitching tonight. For the first time through this series, Jim, right field is a bit of a problem as you see ball 4. The lead batter for the Hurricanes trots down to first base. Weather conditions here tonight as you see the sun glaring off that fence. The wind is a factor tonight. South at 12, but it is gusting beyond that. Humidity very low, chance of rain only 10%, 84 degrees. But in right field and also in center. In fact, as right now the center fielder Ron Lim was just shading his eyes. Bunt is laid down. It's going to go foul down the third base side. We have had well, actually, we've had late afternoon clouds, so the outfielders have not been bothered by it in the second game. The first game players have. But there you see, he's looking into a stiff one.
And you see the shadow out there with right fielder Craig Callis. Or, yeah, early innings, that sun's going to be a bit of a problem. On the balls with a rather low trajectory, the high fly should not give him any problem at all.
F.P. Santangelo, Jim made the point in the opener. He is not really that much of a home run hitter. But that one against Ben McDonald was huge, putting the Canes up 4-0. Springer going to look him down and then step off. Base coaches for the Canes. Ron Frazier at third. Jim Pizzolatto is over at first. 0-1 the count. Hit him on the knee. Base runners at first and at second as Springer walks the lead Jose Trujillo. And now F.P. Santangelo is hit by the pitch, and Will Vespi will come to the plate with nobody down.
You see Springer with a very deliberate motion. Skip Bertman upset about that, but Santangelo squares to bunt, and watch it. He did this the other night. Just stands right there, takes one in the knee for the team. 14 times this year he's been hit.
Will Vespi, 51 RBIs, 7 long balls.
See Springer with that very easy, deliberate motion. I think part of that is due to the arm surgery. Doesn't want to force anything. That's kind of his nature. Very quiet, laid-back kid, and that pitching motion is in keeping with his personality.
Shakes off one sign. 0-1 pitch. Vespi squares to bunt, and that one goes foul.
See, they know Will Vespi, as you see those numbers with runners in scoring position. They don't expect him to bunt, so both the first baseman and the third baseman playing back.
Will came up a couple of times last night against Texas with mates aboard and did not do anything with it. In fact, Miami on the night, Jim, was 1 of 9 with runners in scoring position. Swung out and missed for strike 3.
Not a good at bat for Will Vespi in that situation. Got to try to at least pull the ball to the right side and move the runners up. But this is a backdoor breaking ball. See, here's where we're talking about the three-quarter delivery of Springer and throwing a bit across his body. Sticks that curveball right on the outside corner. Good pitcher's pitch.
Henry Hernandez moved up in the order, hitting cleanup tonight. He's been driving the ball extremely well. Lim in center field retreats about 4 steps, and there are 2 gone. But Jim, you know, we saw it last night. We saw it in the opening game. Hernandez has really been getting aluminum on the ball, but it just hasn't been falling. It's been excellent.
He's known as a good defensive player, but Frazier moves him up into that cleanup spot. He is a good low fastball hitter, and with Springer's motion, he's going to have some good swings at him. And that at-bat right there points up how disappointing the at-bat of Vespi's was. Miami would have a run right now if Vespi had moved them up.
Kirk Doolin at 295. Hitless in the College World Series. Two out, top of the first. Russ Springer.
See, we're talking about Springer throwing three-quarter and throwing slightly across. Watch his lead foot. Kind of goes toward third base. Now, that's tough on the right-hand hitters. He hung that one right there. Much tougher on the right-hand hitters, but the lefties should really hit Springer, should carry the load for Miami because they can see that ball much better.
But for the right-hander, it hides it that much longer. 0-2 count. Phil Espinosa. Will do it for the Hurricanes left field. And Mike Hind, a 4-year junior out of Apopka, Florida, is the gentleman getting his start tonight out there in that spot. Been platooning him much more of late. Canes had a chance at the top of the first inning, could do nothing with it. Now the Tigers.
Last night we saw Scott Bryant make one of his rare starts, a two-position player. A little bit of a rough motion. You're going to see the same thing with Vespi. Not used to pitching a great deal, and his motion much more crude or unpolished than some of the other pitchers we see. See him kind of finish standing up right there. Sometimes he'll get off toward first base, but in the early innings, once he gets his rhythm and gets in a good groove, he's proved that he can do a good job.
The base coaches for tonight, Ray Smoke-Laval is at third, Jim Wells is at first. Jim, another comment from you. I have heard other people say that the stiff front leg on the follow-through can also cause shoulder or arm problems.
Well, that's always a point of debate amongst pitchers, and it's a good question. The classic pitching motion of Tom Seaver with the bent front leg. Now, there's a good hip turn. Watch Will Vespi. He comes over on the bent front leg, but he's got whiplash. You know, he goes back towards second instead of toward the target. And most of that is really because he does not pitch on a regular basis. One simple tip that a coach would give him is say, hey, go right down like you're throwing the ball through the catcher and like the hitter's going to bunt it back toward you. Basically follow through.
Vespi with a 3-1 count on Tookie Johnson to open things up, bottom of the first inning. Ball 4. Keith Osick, the shortstop. By the way, with the 2 runners left by Miami in the first inning, they stranded 9 last night. That's 11 runners in the last 10 innings for the Canes.
Yeah, you throw those 2 two-run homers they got off Ben McDonald out, and they've not generated any offense. The runs they got last night really were because of the brief wildness there by Scott Bryant.
Johnson, who has the good speed, down at first base, squares to bunt, call strike.
Saw Frazier try to bunt in the first inning to put a couple runs up, and I would expect we would see Skip Berkman try to do the same thing, either bunt or hit and run.
Good lead by Johnson over at first. That's pretty liberal. Right back to the pitcher. Vespi to Santangelo. Back to first, and it's a double play. Nicely done by the Hurricanes.
Well, just your basic play that pitchers work on in spring training for about an hour a day. Right back to Vespi. Quick comebacker. Take that little crow hop. Pick up your target. And you know we use the expression the double play turns itself. And what that means is when you're Will Vespi, don't worry about hurrying to get to. Just get the ball to Santangelo and then let him take it from there.
Wes Gresham, the designated hitter. 365, 19 home runs.
Notice, Ron, how FP, who was called for missing the bag the other night on a key double play, that time he made sure
he stomped it that
he put his foot on the bag. I think it was Dale Williams that was at second base in that game also. He's our second base umpire tonight.
Good look at Dale Williams. He was behind the plate in that game between Miami and Texas last evening. A ball had gotten loose in the outfield. That's the reason for the momentary timeout, and Ray Noriega had gone over to retrieve it and get it back in. No score, bottom of the first inning, 2 out. Miami got a couple of men on with a walk and a hit batsman, but could not get anything moving.
You know, we talk about setting goals in various professions. This young man did something before the season. He wanted to hit 375, 20 home runs, and 75 RBIs. He's accomplished that in terms of RBIs, a little short on the average, and home runs.
Fair ball. Could go for a couple as Hine picks it up. Comes in with a nice throw to his shortstop Santangelo, and it's going to be a very long single for Wes Gresham.
Well, shows you the importance of the double play and Grisham's power on the inside pitch. Strong upper body, pulls that fastball. Hines, see him circle the ball. Proper way to do it. Get in good throwing position. And of course, anticipate who the hitter is. That'll tell you as an outfielder whether you need to rush the throw, take your time, and get it back into the infield.
Gresham at first with a 2-out single. It's Craig Calla, the right fielder. Forest City, California, where this youngster hails from. San Mateo Junior College. And in fact, Gresham, who was down at first base, Jim Gresham and Calla, the only 2 players to start in every game for the Tigers this year. On the ground to the left side. Defeated this afternoon. And as we look at the East, Florida State, Wichita State, they will play tomorrow night. Should Florida State win, they're in the championship game on Saturday. If the Shockers win, they will play an elimination game on Friday.
Magic numbers there that we'll get into in a minute, Ron, are 4 and 6, and we'll explain why.
Mike Hine, talked about him just a moment ago, starting in left field tonight, was platooned more late on in the year, and with Vespi starting tonight, that's the reason he's out there in left.
Remember, we said that with good pitching, get to the winner's bracket, it only takes 4 games. 4 wins can win the championship if you go undefeated.
follows it back up here.
That's the advantage that right now Florida State and Texas have. They can continue to use their top 2 pitchers. But now Wichita State that won this afternoon, that was their 3rd game, right? They're going to come back tomorrow. If they beat Florida State, that's 4. Got to play them again on Friday. And then if they win the championship on Saturday, they will have to play 6 games. Kind of test that pitching depth a little more.
1-1 pitch, breaking ball high. And Jim, it also points out that under the new format that was adopted and used last year, that should Florida State win tomorrow evening, should Texas win on Thursday evening, they would be in the championship game both, only having to play 4 games. Pops it in the air to the left side. That one's going to be out of play.
Russ Springer with a nice, easy, slow ball. This is the kind of guy that the hitters would say is sneaky fast. Steps out toward third base. Now, right there, ideally, you'd like to have a pitcher land on the ball of his foot a little more, not the heel. That can kind of cause a little backlash and some shoulder soreness, which Springer's had.
Got him on a high fastball. That's the 2nd strikeout of the game for Springer.
You know, I use the term sneaky fast. What does that mean? Well, you saw that nice slow motion that Springer had, almost like he's throwing batting practice. Yet what did the speed gun say? 89. So as a hitter, you're standing up there and you say, boy, you just kind of lulls you to sleep with that motion. All of a sudden, zip, sneaks right by you. That's where the term sneaky fast comes when you talk about a pitcher's fastball.
Ray Noriega, the right fielder for the Canes. Miles an hour to the youngster out of Miami, Florida. 2nd-year sophomore. Lettered last year as a freshman. Noriega had a scare back at the beginning of the year in a series against Tennessee, but he got hit on the arm and had numbness for a couple of days and was unable to see action. 1 down, 3-0 the count. Chris Hirsch, the catcher, on deck.
Tells you his arm strength right there. Now, that ball's right down Broadway. See Noriega's swing, and yet he swings right through it. 87 miles an hour, but he was late on it, and nice movement.
Strikeout number 3 for Springer.
Well, you know, you look at Curtis Leskanic's record. He's the number 2 starter for Louisiana State, 15-2. He went in the 8th round. I'm sure that was a disappointment to him. Here's a young man, even though his record just 8-3 this year, tells you what the Yankees thought of him. They drafted him in the 2nd round.
Ben McDonald down on the top step, same spot he was in last evening, charting pitches.
And hoping he gets another chance to toe the slab again on Thursday. No matter who wins this game, we should have a dream matchup again, pitching-wise, on Thursday with Kirk Dressendorfer for Texas and either Joe Gray or Ben McDonald for Miami.
Two on the count. 2 out, top of the 2nd inning. There's Ben again. Wonder if he's counting dollars.
I think what he's doing more than anything is he's more relaxed than he has been probably since February.
I think you're exactly right. The draft is over and all the faldera is over.
You know, the point you bring up there, the dollars, is worth explaining just briefly, is that so many college kids that we see at the College World Series are so taken up with the draft and the money that's available. But you win the games, the money will come. The opportunity is what's most important. And you go out and win the games, and the money will be there. Roger Clemens will tell you that. Dwight Gooden.
3-2 count with 2 out. In the air on the right side. LSU fans up here in Omaha, Nebraska. Last night, session 4, it was a record 14,618. And that puts the College World Series almost 3,000 ahead of this point last year. And last year there was a record attendance of 132,698. Matt Gruber, the left fielder.
We've talked about 3 of the players on Florida State's team and 1 today on Miami. FP Santangelo from Sacramento City College. Matt Gruber also out of that fine program.
Strike count goes 2-1. Arkansas eliminated this afternoon by Wichita State. So the Shockers now await Florida State, the top seed in this tournament. That game tomorrow evening. (3-1). Gruber out of Orangevale, California.
Ron, we talked about the fine program that Jerry Weinstein has there at Sacramento City College. Let's take a look at the guys that are at the College World Series. Florida State for Manley is not on the trip. Then Gruber and FP Santangelo. Good program. And Jerry Weinstein, of course, a former assistant of Ron Frazier's at Miami.
Mike Bianco, the catcher. Second inning in a row that the Tigers have gotten their leadoff man on with a walk.
Yeah, and control is going to be a problem here early on for Will Vespi. We can see that. Motion a little out of sync. And Ron Frazier might have to go to Greg Knowles earlier than he wants to. Here's a kid that was an outstanding freshman last year, just has not been as effective this year. So we saw in last night's ball game, the bullpen is not one of the strong suits for the Hurricanes. Got to get good efforts from their starters.
Hirsch and Vespi with a conversation possibly on signs. Ron Frazier.
Wheels are turning inside there. Yeah, he's going to give Greg Knowles up. This kid's got a good curveball. Speaking of Knowles, and did an outstanding job for him last year here in Omaha.
Ron Frazier was not real pleased with his ball club last night.
Look at that, balls and strikes 13-6. Should be just the opposite. 13 strikes, 6 balls.
Hard hit ball, base hit. They're going to send him to third. Throw is on the left field side, and the Tigers with nobody out and runners at first and third on the Bianco single.
LSU athletic director Joe Dean right there in your picture likes that. Takes the outside pitch and pulls it through the hole, and no hesitation right there on the part of the runner. And Gruber with a head-first slide into third. Kelly with a quick visit. Brad Kelly, the Miami pitching coach, and we saw that ball strike total of Vespi, and that's usually what happens. You fall behind hitters, they sit on that fastball, good left-hand hitters. We're going to do what Bianco did right there.
Discussion is over. Brad Kelly comes trotting back. Vespi will stay. We have no outs. Bottom of the second inning. Runners at first and third for LSU and nobody out. Phil Espinosa, the third baseman.
Play depth right there. Frazier will say, I'll give you 1 run to get 2 outs. Certainly not bringing the infield in in this situation.
Center fielder Vieira, as you could see, shaded off just a little bit to the left.
Espinosa's the type of hitter that his strength is the ability to go to right field, which is ideal for him right now. Hernandez holding the runner on. He's got a nice hole to shoot at over there between first and second.
Ron Lim is due, the center fielder. Two base hits for the LSU Tigers. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott, Omaha, Nebraska. This is day number 5, and we're down to 5 teams. North Carolina, Long Beach, and Arkansas have been eliminated. One of these two teams will suffer the same fate.
Talking about the different pickoff moves that Brad Kelly has worked with the Miami pitchers on. The slow lob toss that Vespi used, they're just kind of a token move, and then oftentimes they'll follow it up with the quick feet, quick arm if they're really trying to pick someone off.
Espinosa going for downtown Omaha on that one. And he falls behind to the count, 1-2.
See the signals right there being sent in from pitching coach Brad Kelly to catcher Chris Hirsch.
Count even at 2.
Noticed how since the first round of games, Smoke Laval gives the signs down there, the first round of games, the play has become a little more tentative. You get closer to that elimination day, and it seems like everything kind of slows down a little.
Down in the dirt. Nice job by Hirsch. The base runners for the Tigers. Groover at third base. And number 5 over at first is catcher Mike Bianco. A word about Hirsch. All through this tournament, Jim, he has done an outstanding job behind the plate. And that last pitch was witness of that fact.
Bianco's got good speed at first base. 3-2 count, nobody out. See if Skip Bertman sends him. Try to stay out of the double play. Get the infielders in motion.
Pretty good lead by Bianco. He was on the way. Maybe a different way to phrase it. He's a catcher, and he's also a good runner. We discussed that the other evening. Hernandez, number 28, holding him on first base. They count 3-2. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning.
These are the things that we find watching college baseball that almost throw the pitcher out of rhythm. How many times after a lot of pickoff moves do we see a pitch out of the strike zone?
Runner is going. Line shot into right field. Noriega on the run. In plenty of time is Bianco. There's one down. The runner scores from third on the tag. Groover comes across, and the LSU Tigers go on top by a score of 1-0.
Good job of hitting right there by Phil Espinosa. Fastball, takes it the other way. Doesn't try to pull the ball. Good right field hitter. And drives it deep enough to score Groover on the sac fly.
Tigers lead 1-0 at Ron Lim, the center fielder. Earlier today at our visit with Skip Bertman, he was still trying to make up his mind whether it was going to be Schneiderwin or Ron Lim in center field. And in fact, we thought it was going to be Schneiderwin, and then the change was made just before game time that it would be Lim.
What we've seen most of the coaches do here at Omaha is take their center fielder who has the most speed and can cover the ground and play him regardless of his hitting ability, because Rosenblatt Stadium with that mammoth center field area out there. And that's why Lim's in the lineup instead of Schneiderwind. Got Jim Audley with Wichita State, good speed. John Vieira tonight with good speed. Saw what Lance Jones did last night for Texas. So a lot of importance on the center field position here in this big ballpark.
And we've seen these youngsters play it extremely well. 1-2 count. The red dot represents Mike Bianco, the catcher, down at first. LSU has tallied the first run of the ball game. Got him swinging, and a big one as far as Vespi is concerned. The second out of the inning. First strikeout. Pete Bush, the first baseman. The number 9 hitter in the order for the Tigers. .290 average, not great power, has a couple of home runs this year.
We used the slide step sometime in talking about pitchers move to home plate. Watch Will Vespi right here to try to keep Bianco close. He just lifts that leg up slightly, then slide. That's where the slide step term comes from. Slides toward home plate. Try to give his catcher a little extra time in throwing the runner out.
Bush drives it through the right side for a base hit. Heading for third is Bianco. The throw is there, and they nailed him. What a throw.
Good throw, and a base running mistake right there by Mike Bianco. Don't want to make that third out at third base. Noriega showing us a good arm. Good fundamentals right there. Fielding that ball on the run. He threw a runner out last night. Overhead view will tell you what the hitter sees from Russ Springer. Now, this ball is coming about 4 feet from the right of the pitching rubber. And watch the trajectory to Jose Trujillo. Comes back across the inside corner. Started out at 86 miles an hour, 83 when it got to home plate. And you see what that does to a right-hand hitter. That ball almost seems like it's coming from behind him as he stands in the batter's box. Good shot from our overhead view there of supervision.
Let's go back to Noriega's throw.
Now, Noriega threw a runner out at home in last night's game, and boy, that was an important out and a base running mistake. Right here, Mike Bianco, good speed, but with 2 outs, you're just as well off at second base. Good tag right there by Doolin. Accurate throw by Noriega. You're just as well off at second base. The time you want to take a chance in going to third base is if you can get there with 1 out. Then you can score on a sacrifice fly or a bunt or a wild pitch, balk, any number of things. But with 2 out, the old baseball adage, don't make the third out at third base.
You can see the body also going in front of the camera. That was Will Vespi sprinting over to make the backup at third base. Number 9 hitter John Vieira will lead it off for the Canes in the ninth. John has shown he's another one of the guys in center field who has done a really good job in the tournament.
We saw that overhead view of supervision and how tough it is for the right-hand hitter. See, it's just the opposite. Vieira, a good fastball hitter, should have some good swings at Springer. He did right there. Is that ball coming from 4 feet to the right of the rubber is much easier for these left-handers to draw a bead on.
Base hit. First one of the night for the Miami Hurricanes. And we go back to the top of the order. Jose Trujillo, the second baseman.
Now there's the example of that coming sidearm to the left-hand hitter, how easy it is to see. And John Vieira, good short swing, good speed. Gives Ron Frazier in Miami a good number 9 hitter. Another look at it. See, that ball looks about twice as big to the lefties as it does to the righties. And you can look for a sacrifice bunt here. Trujillo all-time career leader. Last night laid down his 46th career sacrifice bunt. Nobody does it better. He looked at Vieira almost as if he was taking a pitch to give John a chance to steal, then bunt him to third base.
Springer's going to step off as Trujillo stepped out. 0-1 the count. Nobody out. Top of the third inning. John Vieira down at first with the first base hit of the night for the Miami Hurricanes. Again with that extremely long look. That's twice in the ball game that he has done that.
Yeah, and it works against him. First of all, Russ Springer stands straight up. There's no flex in the knees. Going to take him a lot longer to deliver the ball to home from that position. Going to give Vieira an extra step or two jump towards second.
Defensively, LSU plays Trujillo straight away. This time squares to bunt. Espinosa was charging in from third base.
That left side of the LSU infield has not been effective this year. Espinosa and Ozick, both with high error totals. Osick has made 33 errors, Espinosa 17, so ground balls that way have given LSU a lot of problems. I'm sure that's why Trujillo, with Espinosa back, tried to drop that bunt down. Boy, if pitchers ever got a chance to play in the field like two position players like Will Vespi, they would learn to appreciate pitchers that get the ball with a little quicker tempo. Russ Springer right now with a long, deliberate pause between each pitch. There's Vieira trying to get a bead, trying to get a jump.
There he goes, and it's a pitch out. And they've got him hung up. Bush is going to run him down. Now the throw. They drop the ball, and he's safe at second. Vieira looked as though he was dead in the water, held up and headed back to first base to cause the rundown, and LSU dropped the baseball.
You see Vieira kind of hang his head and look at Frazier. Hey, I don't know. He's studying Springer, trying to get a jump. Springer, he gets just a little bit of slow jump. You see Springer has started his motion. Now Vieira looks in. That tells you it's a hit and run, and he said, whoa, they pitched out. I got no chance. Does the right thing right here. And once again, when LSU's infielders have to handle the ball, they've not been successful.
Tookie Johnson dropped the baseball. It is a strike three, and Trujillo is gone. F.P. Santangelo, the number 2 hitter, hit by a pitch in the first inning, steps to the plate. Strikeout number 4. Way ahead on the count on Santangelo, 0-2. The error was charged to Johnson just a moment ago for dropping the ball on the throw from Bush. 1-0. Tigers lead.
Boy, good smooth delivery there, and a little more heat on it with the man in scoring position from Russ Springer. Has a habit of looking down and then picking up his target at the last minute. That's what it looked like to F.P. Santangelo. Upstairs, and he swung right through it. You know, Ron, sometimes guys like Santangelo hitting home runs can work against him.
Gets away, and advancing is John Vieira over to third.
You know, a little guy like that, like Santangelo, just his 3rd home run the other night, but he has a tendency to try to lift the ball, which is not really his game. You see him do it there against Springer, swinging right through it. Night off for Skip, doesn't have to flash any signs with Springer calling his own game.
Pitcher DH Will Vespi, 1-0. Shortstop Osik.
LSU infielders make a mistake right here. 2 men covering second base. First you go to see the shortstop, Osik, come into your picture. Vieira gets caught in the rundown. Now, third baseman Espinosa runs over from third. You see them both in your picture. The ball dropped by Johnson. Nobody is on third base. Ron Frazier right there frantically trying to get Vieira's attention. Didn't do it. Then he would have scored on the pass ball. The Canes would have had an easy run.
Tukey Johnson walked his first time. Maniac trying to fly a kite. There's enough wind. I'm not sure there's enough talent.
Can't get that baby airborne.
On the right side, Hernandez coming over, makes the call, and he's got it for the first out.
Speaking of airborne, Ron, if you get a ball up in the air tonight, you see that flag out there at Rosenblatt State, a little more favorable for the hitters than we've seen in our first 4 days. That one will right-hand hitter or lefty gets it up in the breeze to center or left center. It's going to help it out of here. 3 home runs in the first game between Wichita State and Arkansas.
Keith Osik having a good College World Series, 3 for 8. He's throwing here in the 3rd.
He's got a good arm, 86 right there. He'll average out 86, 87, which for someone who doesn't pitch on a regular basis is good. He was drafted by the Minnesota Twins last year as a 2-position player. Their plans, if they signed him, were to make a first baseman out of him.
Into center field, Vieira, and he is there to make the catch. Pause for a moment. The coaches have talked about that center field at given times, one of those given times is early evening like this, that the ball is extremely hard to pick up straight away. Wes Gresham, he singled in the first.
Boy, Gresham's got some cannons on him, some pipes. These guys spend a little time in the weight room. .250 on the series. You also saw the strikeout total, which is 3. Not uncommon for a big swinger. Now, most power hitters that try to pull the ball instead of stepping into the ball, a lot of times that front foot will pull away. That's why the last time against Vespi, that inside pitch he turned on. You'll see that front foot. In this case, his left one pulled slightly away from the plate.
Got him off the fist on that one.
See, and of course, as a pitcher and a catcher, you pay attention to those kind of things. The guys that pull away from the ball, you can get on the outside pitch. Watch that front foot. Pulls down toward the third baseline. So if you get that ball on the outside edge, obviously going to be much tougher for him to make good contact with. The opposite would be the guys that step into the ball are more jammable. You can get it inside on them.
Hurst sets up on the outside corner. 0-2 pitch outside. 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd. LSU 1-0. 1 run on 3 hits, and for the Canes, no runs on 1 hit. Will Vespi brought to the mound tonight as the number 3 starter for the Miami Hurricanes.
Camera will give you an idea what the ball looks like to John Vieira, the left-hand hitter. See, now it's coming from the third base side of the pitching rubber, about 4 feet to the right of it. A changeup, 71 miles an hour. And as a result, Vieira gets a good look at it. Base hit between first and second. Nice overhead shot there of our supervision camera.
Great looking moon over Omaha, Nebraska. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott. And this is the 40th year of the College World Series in this great city. Down to 5 teams. Arkansas has been eliminated. One of these 2 teams will be gone after tonight in this double elimination event. Henry Hernandez.
Yeah, that 1 for 8 doesn't tell you how well he's been hitting the ball, but watch him. Watch how he strides into the ball. And that's where Russ Springer's going to have to keep it, either low and away, which he did right there, or up and in on the lefties. I tell you, Springer's impressive with that easy motion and that sneaky fastball. No surprise that he's a second-round draft pick.
Popped the mid with that one at 89 miles an hour.
A hitter will tell you every at-bat they usually get one good pitch that they can drive. You know, sometimes they have to fight off the corner pitch. As you can see, Henry Hernandez tapped the end of his bat after that one in disgust. That was a hitter's pitch, and he fouled it back.
Breaking pitch misses, and the count goes even at 2. Springer, following the surgery, didn't start throwing again for the Tigers until the very last week of February.
Skip Bertman monitored him very, very closely. He only threw 30 pitches his first time up. Then he went to 40. Then he worked up. He has but 1 complete game all year, and that was a month ago against Auburn. See that nice, easy motion, hip turn, hides the ball well. And with that easy motion, you know how fast that pitch was? 90 miles an hour.
I was going to say
that arm strength.
That one looked less stressful than the pitch before, and none really looked stressful from him.
Maybe explain that term, hide the ball. You know, fans will see hitters or pitchers that throw exceptionally hard, but yet they get hit exceptionally hard. The hitter sees the ball well. The guy hides it pretty well and throws it hard as well, Ben McDonald. But Springer, with that big hip turn away from the hitter, it's much more difficult to pick up the ball.
In the air to right field.
Lim's having trouble seeing it again.
And all the way from right field comes Craig Calla. Lim, as Jim said, put his arms out saying, I can't find it. As we are at that tough time of the evening. It's tough in the sun, but also when you hit twilight. Look at him. He's hollering to Calla, help me.
Well, and Calla, the senior, boy, alert play right here. A lot of right fielders just take that ball for granted that the center fielder will put it away. Now Lim trying to recover. Calla will come into your picture there, make a nice recovery catch.
Jim, that's a sprint of what, 70 yards probably? Great job by Calla. Kirk Doolin, the third baseman, grounded out. Third to first. That was back in the first inning. LSU on top, 1-0.
A lot of successful pitchers in the big leagues will tell you, I learned to pitch after I had a bit of an arm injury, some arm problem, because you know you can't blow the ball by hitters. So you learn movement, control, and change of speeds. And that's what Springer has done. After that arm surgery, they took that little piece of cartilage out. Coming back very slowly, pitched a game this year, 6 innings, didn't allow any runs without a strikeout. So he's learning how to pitch.
Strike 2, count is full. Interesting how the adversity of the surgery makes you a smarter person. Got around too quickly on that one. It'll go foul.
And nice, you know, ideally you would take a young pitcher and try to get him to point that front foot, that free foot, right toward the target. But in Springer's case, you know, he's been using this pitching motion for so long. Skip Bertman, the head coach, had said, yeah, we tinkered with his motion, tried to change it, but he's been doing it for so long. No need. He's having success this way.
Greg Knoll's dad. In the air to the right side, and that one will make the stands.
Greg Knowles, the right-hand relief pitcher from the Hurricanes that was up earlier in the ball game.
You know, if you've never been to the College World Series, there are a lot of people who follow the different teams routinely. Parents, relatives, friends. But as the series goes on and your team continues to do well, more people come up from your area.
See how defensive that Doolin is on this swing right here. Now remember what we showed you from the overhead supervision, how the ball looks to a right-hand hitter. That three-quarter arm dropping down to Doolin right there. Very defensive swing.
Springer. So a one-out walk to Doolin, and it's Mike Hine, the left fielder. Nice crowd again this evening here at Omaha. We have truly been blessed as far as the weather. Mild temperatures.
Ron Frazier trying to shake his lineup up. Hasn't had much offense. This is a good opportunity for him. Mike Hine can pull the ball through the hole there. See what Springer does with that breaking ball to the lefties. We use the term backdoor. That means a right-hand pitcher to a left-hand hitter and tries to drop the curve on the outside corner. Doesn't want to get it on the inner half of the plate where Hine can pull it.
Checks Doolin at first, bounces away from Bianco, but Doolin will stay where he is.
That was an example right there. Bianco with a good block, but see, Springer threw that ball out of the strike zone. Doesn't want to put that curveball anywhere in the strike zone, inner half, for a left-hand hitter. See the one and the point outside.
Ooh. Hine hit by the pitch. That is the second hit batsman by Russ Springer. And in fact, a similar situation to back in the first inning, where a walk and then hit by a pitch.
I'll give you an idea. You can't throw them all where you want to. Now, Mike Bianco has signaled, and target is low outside. This ball comes in and gets Hine right on the bicep. He's got plenty of protection there.
Ray Noriega, the right fielder. One out. 2 men aboard. Top of the fourth inning. LSU 1 and Miami nothing. This is an elimination game.
Boy, are they going to give Ray Noriega a shot if he elects to go the other way. Look for Phil Espinosa's play just off the line and on the grass. And yet shortstop Keith Osick is straight away. So on that outside fastball, Noriega's got a good shot left field.
Count even at 1 with 1 out. Runner is advancing, the throw, and Doolin is caught. Ron Frazier right there immediately to question the call. As the ball got away for just a split second, Bianco retrieved it and fired down to third. Espinosa with the tag, and Doolin was out.
A big call for the Hurricanes right there. Frazier doesn't believe it. Ron Graham right on the play. Head first slide. Doolin's arm That's from where Graham is. It's a tough play for him to call because the tag was made on the inside. Bianco does a good job recovering here and a quick snap throw. But it appears that Espinosa tags Doolin up about the waist, up on the thigh. Another angle. Whoops. See, Graham, no way he could get around to the inside of Doolin right there and make that call from the home plate side at third. So he's got to make the judgment right there. See, Espinosa still does not have control of the ball. Doolin's hand clearly in there ahead of the tag.
And as if Ron Frazier weren't chapped enough, Mike Hind is still down at first base.
Oh, boy.
Did not move. 2 out. Still runner at first. Hind.
Yeah, that's a big mistake right there by Mike Hind. Watch that runner in front of you. As soon as he goes, you go.
3-1 pitch. Call strike. There's a good look at Kirk Doolin. Another one of the haircuts that the Miami Hurricanes are donning here at the College World Series. Coach told them they were leaving home. They weren't going to play there since they didn't have a regional. Runner is going this time. Gets a good jump, and he has himself a stolen base.
You can hear in the background second base umpire Dale Williams say, yes, he's still on the bag. Time is called. Infielders will always try to make that second tag in case the base runner slides past the bag. Make that second tag just in case. Hind gets a good jump, says, hey, I better make up for not being at second base on that short pass ball, and he does a good job of sliding past the tag.
He did not qualify for this year's tournament. And this great field has now been whittled to 5. Around 11 o'clock this evening, it will be down to 4. Arkansas beaten today, so that means North Carolina, Long Beach State, and Arkansas have been eliminated. And the loser of this one also will be gone. Craig Kellogg ahead in the count 2-0.
Westby kind of settling in after a little rugged and the first little ragged really in the first couple innings, but much smoother now. That's understandable for someone who doesn't get to the mound very often, just his 9th start.
One of the big games, you see it happen in the pros, so you know it's going to happen with these youngsters.
Both guys, Springer tonight coming on, working on 10 days rest. Westby has not pitched since the regional.
Asking for the appeal, throw down to first base because Kalanui went around, and there is one gone in the 4th. But tomorrow night, we were talking about the elimination today. That means that tomorrow night, Wichita State against Florida State, 8 o'clock Eastern time. 2 of the nation's premier relievers. Newland, we've seen him a couple of times already in the tournament. He has been outstanding. And, of course, Kimball with the great credential. Ricky as well in that same caliber of pitching.
Kimball 9 for 9 in save opportunities, and Newland saved the win today for Wichita State to get them to tomorrow night's game.
Matt Brewer tries to get out of what he thought was going to be a breaking pitch, and it's a call strike. He's down in the count 0-2. See Hirsch bounce around because it was foul tipped, but he couldn't hold on to it.
We're talking about open stances and closed stances as hitters, Ron. You know, a rule of thumb, there are exceptions, but power hitters hit from an open stance quite often. You'll very seldom see a good average hitter hit from an open stance like that.
excuse me, and that one is foul.
And you say, why? Well, good hitting fundamentals are keeping that front side closed and going into the ball. I mean, look at the guys that are leading the leagues in the big leagues. Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, go back to Rod Carew. Freddie Lynn is a good example. A lot of your Fenway Park hitters. Close stance, stride into the ball. Power hitters, a little different story. Of your power hitters with an open stance like Groover pull away from the ball, and you leave that ball in the inside part of the plate. That's where they pull it and jack it out.
1-2 pitch down low, and it goes even.
Talk about exceptions. I guess we'd mentioned Willie Mays. You know, there's a guy that stepped all over the batter's box, didn't make any difference. So there are exceptions, but that's just kind of a general rule.
Exceptions for exceptional athletes, which he was. Vespi had some heat on that one, but well out of the zone, and the count is now filled. Got him for the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Will Vespi. Jim, let me ask you something. Let's go back to the nerve singer talking about a while ago. Did you try to do something different, playoffs, World Series, to occupy your mind or your time to try to keep from having the jitters?
Yeah, a good thing to do, but it's easy to say and tough to do. As in games like this, as a pitcher, you say, hey, it's just another ball game, kind of a Sunday afternoon country hardball. Don't get too worked up about it, because you know when the game starts you're going to be. The reverse of that is when, you know, you're playing for a team that's in first place and you got a 10-game lead, and you're playing the team that's in the cellar. You got to guard against coming to the ballpark and not getting jacked up.
Bianco lifts it in the air to left. Coming hard is Hind, and he has it for the 3rd out. So the Tigers go quietly in the 4th inning. 1-2-3. A couple of strikeouts by Vespi and the fly ball. Head to the bottom half of the inning. Tigers still on top, 1-0.
Done a good job through the first 4 innings. Miami with just 1 hit. Every now and then a little sign of wildness, like the hit batsman and a couple of walks, but gets men on. He gets that fastball up to about 90 plus. Good percentage of fastballs in the strike zone and breaking balls. Good command of that breaking ball. Well, like we said, after the arm injury, Russ Springer has learned how to pitch. He's learned how to get command of those off-speed pitches. And if he's going to be successful in professional baseball, that's a must.
Sure, you picked up the simple arithmetic, but 64 pitches coming into the top of the 5th inning.
Competitive look on that man's face right there. Young man Russ Springer. Very calm, low-key individual, yet a lot of intensity in those eyes.
Inside with the pitch, and it goes 2-1.
Okay.
Ron Frazier's wife to the left, and his brother Karen, and his wife and his brother Don on the right. LSU 1-0, 5th inning. That one gets away completely from Springer.
Yeah, I would think if Miami, and they are taking Springer to some deep counts, can be patient. The guy coming off arm surgery in just 1 complete game, you get that pitch count up, you know, 90 to 100 here in the middle of the ball game. It's going to give them a better opportunity and also put a little pressure on Skip Bertman.
Ball 4.
Skip Bertman have to make some decisions. He's got to find young freshman that he would use in the middle of the ball game, Paul Bird. And about the 8th or 9th inning, we're going to see Ben McDonald trot down there and get a little throwing in. If LSU is winning, he'll be the pitcher on Thursday. If they need him to save the game late in the game, he'll do that.
John Vieira, the center fielder, had a teammate aboard down at first base, and the catcher, Chris Hirsch. Vieira singled his first time. Squares to bunt, and that one almost got him as he squared.
Good situation for Frazier. Vieira's got good bat control. Base hit off Springer the first time. You can show bunt right here, as he did, to get the infield charging and give him one swing at pulling the fastball down the first baseline.
Ball's down on one knee to get the bunt down. Executes it beautifully. And down to second goes Hirsch.
Boy, talk about giving yourself up for the team. This is the way to sacrifice her. Vieira has no intention of trying to beat this out. He said, just make sure I get it down. Boy, that is great technique right there. Get the runner into scoring position, which would tie the game. And who do they want in there? The nation's #1 pick, Big Ben. Going to get into action a little quicker than Skip Berkman planned.
Mr. Berkman was not joking with us when he said whatever it takes. And he said Ben will be down in the pin. And here it is, top of the 5th with 1 out. Canes with a man in scoring position. Mark LaRosa also down with Ben McDonald loosening up.
Get down to Vespi and Hernandez, 2 left-hand hitters. Berkman would bring LaRosa in to face the lefties. They're lefties that Ron Frazier would not pinch hit for, more than likely.
Base hit to right field. Let's see if Ray Frazier holds him. He does, as the throw comes in quickly from Craig Callan. And the Canes with runners at the corners and only 1 down.
Now, the strikeout victim the last time up. This time Trujillo says, I'm going the other way. Don't overswing. See the swing right there. Every intention of hitting the ball the other way. In fact, he hit it so sharply that Chris Hirsch at second base had to hold up for a moment to see whether Calla could come up with it. And Frazier held him at third.
F.P. Santangelo, the shortstop. Trujillo has been a thorn in the side of the Tigers. Had a couple of base hits the first time they met. And tonight, that single just recorded, and he also walked in the first.
Well, this is a little dangerous right here. Chris Hirsch at third base. And Trujillo at first, but a little dangerous on the part of Mike Bianco, trying to come inside with that fastball.
Base hit down the right side. It'll score 1 and maybe 2. Calla over at the line to pick it up. They're going to hold the runner at third, and it is a double for F.P. Santangelo. Canes have tied it at 1.
Mentioned Mike Bianco had given Springer the sign, fastball inside. Now, he is sitting a little bit outside, but boy, left-hand hitter, this pitch is right in his zone. Big hole open there between first and second. Trujillo, as soon as he sees it over Bush's glove, good jump. Scoots into third. Now we got a 1-1 game and runners at second and third. Mark LaRosa, left-hander, getting ready in a hurry.
Fouls that one off to the right side. Trujillo came flying home. He had it set on go.
You know, Skip Berkman right there, I'm sure, pondering the thought of walking Will Vespi intentionally. Vespi, though 0 for 2 tonight, is a .366 hitter with men in scoring position. Not even playing the infield in. With 1 out, confident that they can score a couple of runs off Will Vespi.
Score is even as the hits are now even at 3. Miami 1 and LSU 1. Off the fist. And Keith Osick boots the ball. It will be Trujillo scoring from third. And now Miami goes in top by 1.
A tough play right here for Keith Osick. Good pitch by Springer. Hits Vespi. Looks like right on the end of the bat. Almost knocks the bat out of his hand. Actually up on the handle of the bat. But because Santangelo's there, Osick is shielded just momentarily from the ball. And all he can do is get his body in front of it. That's scored as a base hit and an RBI for Vespi.
Vespi at first, Santangelo at the top of your screen down at second. So they have scored it as a base hit. And it looks like we're going to have, nope, not a pinch runner. They've gone back over to get.
Oh, same thing we saw last night with Alex Fernandez. Pitcher gets on first base. He wants to keep the cannon warm.
Canes have proven they have a lot of versatility with their pitchers. They started hitting also.
They started that tradition about 60 years ago, and it's the most overrated thing in baseball. Pitcher wearing a jacket. You know, 80 degrees, you'd be out in your bathing suit if you weren't playing baseball. Put a jacket on to run the bases.
Henry Hernandez is the batter. Santangelo back into second as the shortstop Keith Osick was creeping in behind him. Given it's a second play tonight, that Osick has let the ball play him rather than playing it. That's the reason it came up on him, it looked like.
Infield defense, not one of the strong suits of the Tigers. I was kind of surprised there that Bertman did not bring the infield in. Obviously double play depth right now with men at first and second.
1-0 count on Hernandez.
See, if he were going up against Joe Gray or maybe Alex Fernandez on a good night, I think he would have. But the reasoning there, as a lot of coaches will do, is say, hey, I will try to stay out of the big inning, give them a run or two, because I think we can score off their starter.
Hernandez in the first game batted in the number 7 spot. Moved up to cleanup for this one this evening. Ron Franklin and Jim Cock from Omaha. 2-1 Miami, top of the 5th. Hernandez gets around with the ball well, and he's overmatched him twice now.
Yeah, he's made good pitches on Hernandez. See where this is in the outside corner. That's why I was surprised he came inside to Santangelo. That same fastball in the inside half is right in Hernandez's power zone.
1-2. Right back to the pitcher. Going to go to third, but
that's the short way home. Not a bad play.
He even took time and patted his glove, waiting for the third baseman to get over there. Which accentuates how quickly and how well Espinosa got it across the diamond. Trujillo boots it for a moment, pats his glove, and he can't get him. That's going to be an E4. The amazing thing is he knocked it down, had it in front of him, and patted the ball back at his glove before he threw.
I don't see that very often from Jose Trujillo. He does the right thing here. Get the body down, knocks it down, but it falls off. It bounces off from his hip. And even with his strong arm, cannot get Espinosa. Most of the time at second base, you got plenty of time to knock it down and still get him.
Bunt just goes foul. In his defense, I was wrong. He was not patting his glove. He was trying to find an errant ball that was trying to jump out of his glove.
Sure-handed second baseman. That's only his 8th error of the year. Talk about LSU not being a good defensive infield. The Hurricanes have a good defensive infield. Doolin just 6 errors. Santangelo 13. That's low for a shortstop.
Lim struck out back in the second inning. He was the first strikeout victim of the night. of Will Vespi. Lim is not a very large man anyway, and when he crouches just a little bit, he's got to be an extremely tough target at the plate, one to get as far as a strike zone.
See, almost like Scott Bryant last night, though Vespi has more pitching experience. You get him in a stretch position, and they pay a little attention to the base runner, and the control suffers. Watch him. He'll be peeking over that shoulder, and sometimes just takes a little concentration away from heading the ball towards your target.
The red dot is Phil Espinosa at first. Lays down the bunt. It's a good one. The catcher comes out. Hirsch, he nails it. And now nobody is covering third because Doolin had come in on the bunt, and very quickly Santangelo went flying over and looked down at second. Espinosa looking at the ground. I think he doesn't want to look at Smoke LaBelle.
Oh, we've seen two opportunities wasted like that tonight. Doolin is going to charge down to field the bunt. Nobody covering third base right here. He's going to field it. Now, Hirsch calls him off. And what Doolin has to do right here is retreat immediately. He doesn't do it. Nice play by Hirsch, and they just got Lim at first base. Good job by cheating there on that tag. Pull that foot off as quickly as you can on that throw.
Hirsch very confident behind the plate and has been, as we mentioned earlier, extremely consistent. Down into the dirt. Knocks that one down.
I said good cheating, Ron. I probably ought to explain that. But when you're at first base on a close play, whether you're the first baseman or second baseman taking the throw, you try to come off the bag as quickly as possible. More often than not, you'll get the out call from the umpire by doing that on a close play.
One down, bottom of the fifth. 2-1, Miami on top. Pete Bush, the first baseman for the Tigers. I'd like to up that average right here and get his teammate, who is in scoring position, down at second home. Single back in the second. Hirsch again. You see him call timeout to run out and talk with Will Vespi.
I've seen a good job by a lot of the catchers at the College World Series. John Prather last night for Texas, Eric Wedge, and once again here, see no attempt to catch that ball by Chris Hirsch. Puts the glove and the free arm down by his side and uses the body. Just block the ball. It's the only responsibility the catcher has there. Keep it in front of him.
To Bush. That one could go for a couple, and the run will score from second, and Espinosa ties it up as the throw comes in much closer than we thought, and he is safe. Pete Bush with a head-first slide at second, and the Tigers have knotted it at 2.
Well, that danger zone for right-hand pitcher and a left-hand hitter is when that pitch hangs inside down, and that's where that one is. No chance for Hernandez. Once again, Ray Noriega shows us a good throwing arm. Bush not blessed with great speed, legs it into second, and I'll tell you, he just beat the throw. Santangelo doesn't agree, but Bush got his hand in there just ahead of the tag.
Boy, there's Bush's mom. Tie ball game at the bottom of the fifth at 2. I'll tell you, Noriega really has shown a great throwing arm out there, hasn't he?
Accurate. Seen him make nail 2 out of 3 guys. Just missed the third one right there.
We mentioned this youngster off the top of the telecast. 24-game hitting streak. It's on the line right now. Puts it in the air down the right side. Giving chase, but nobody's going to be able to get to that one.
Ray Noriega nailed a guy at the plate last night, threw out a runner at third base, Mike Bianco. And here's a player who has not been playing on a regular basis, struggling with a bat a little bit. Just a sophomore. You know what he does so well is the way he gets to the ball fundamentally. You always see him fielding the ball on the run, so he's got his body and his momentum going toward the target, coming up in throwing position.
Down at second, Pete Bush. On the ground, right back to Vespi, and they've got Bush caught between second and third. Vespi falls down. He's going to get him himself. Will Vespi, relentless in his effort as he chased him down, and he did the smart thing. He ran straight at him, but then fell down.
Well, I'll tell you what, no pictures, just numbers. It didn't look pretty, but Will Vespi did the exact right thing you're supposed to do as a pitcher. You hold on to that ball and find out which way the runner commits himself. He slips right there. Now, instead of making a quick throw, he said, no, I'm going to run him back to second. Proper play. See what that did? Not only retired the runner, but it also kept Tookie Johnson from advancing to second base. You run him the other way, and the batter gets into second base in scoring position. Good alert play by Will Vespi.
So Tookie down at first base on the fielder's choice. Keith Osick hit into that double play in the first inning after Tookie Johnson had walked. That is a 2-iron right up the middle for a base hit. And they're bringing the base runner Johnson to third. He will stand up there easily, and it's a 2-out single. Runners at the corners for the Tigers.
Greg Knowles was up earlier in the ball game for the Hurricanes. Guy that Ron Frazier called on last year in a similar situation, and came in and pitched 4 innings of relief against Fresno State. Canes won an extra inning game in a similar situation, an elimination game.
Brett Kelly.
You see with that base hit right there by Keith Osick, even though Will Vespi giving up a base hit in this inning, a couple of them, he helped himself in the field in that rundown play. That right now has prevented LSU from taking the lead. Just to amplify that point we were talking about, Ron, the important thing in here for a pitcher or anybody, you always run the runner back from the base that he came from. That's why Vespi held on to the ball. You see, if you immediately run him toward third base, you always run the risk of overthrowing third, also allowing the hitter to get into second base. So the proper play by Vespi.
2-2 the score. The base runners, Tookie Johnson is at third. Down at first is Keith Osick. The batter is Wes Grisham, the DH.
We'll get a little time out here. Will Vespi,
5-2. Breaking pitch, and boy, he went for everything and missed it a foot.
Chances are Skip Berkman will not try anything tricky like a double steal right there. Mr. Grisham looking on, because this is the guy they want at the plate in run-producing situations.
Grisham's dad hoping that his son can add to what is already a healthy RBI total. Vespi on top of the count, 0-2 with 2 out. Strike 3 and Vespi for Will Vespi. Tough pitch right here. Grisham goes for it, can't get it. Tough on the players, and it's also tough on parents. It's Gary Grisham, his dad. And this is his reaction on the strikeout.
Now, you mentioned how many families, parents follow their kids here to the College World Series, as well as the just general public that takes an interest in this. That gives you an idea of how emotionally involved they get in it.
Well, it's a long season, and for most of these parents, they've been following them this way, Jim, ever since Little League Baseball.
Yeah, we cover our games during the regular season. We get a chance to see that on a local level. The great support that these teams get.
Count goes to 2-1. The one thing also that is so in evidence around the country in college baseball as we continue to cover more and more colleges are the new stadiums, the nice parks that are being built. Way in the air to the shortstop. Osick makes the call. And Kirk Doolin is gone in the 6th. One of the newest ones we featured this year was the new park at Ole Miss.
I didn't get a chance to see that one, but I understand that's a terrific stadium.
Facility, yeah.
Of course, we've covered every year one of the favorite spots, Starkville, Mississippi, Dudy Noble Field down there. So some great facilities around the country for college baseball. A couple new ones going up out on the West Coast, both at Cal State Fullerton and the team that got eliminated yesterday, Long Beach State. They'll have a new ballpark.
They deserve it. They had to kind of drift this year between 3 different parks out there because of lack of availability.
Boy, Springer, you can tell how he has learned to pitch against the left-hand hitters. Great command of that curveball on the outside part of the plate to left-handers.
And the air to right, but not as deep as it sounded. And Callow's there for the second out. You could hear the crowd groan. It had a big sound as it came off the bat. But it was dulled somewhat as he didn't hit it solidly, and he records the second out.
Is that David Cohn?
Oh, that was your ticket giveaway tonight.
Yeah. All 4 of them. Here from Tiger Country. And once again, there's Springer. Hine had a good swing at that ball, but he's keeping the ball away, except for the mistake pitch to Santangelo. He's keeping the ball away from those left-hand hitters.
Well, we've seen this man's defensive skills tonight. Offensively, he would like to see those jump up and become more of a positive for him. Hit well to left. Way back, and it is out of here. Ray Noriega has broken the tie, and the Canes go back on top. Score now 3-2.
Picked a good time to make contact. Struck out his first 2 times up, has not even made solid contact with the ball. Yeah, Springer's doing a good job of keeping the ball away. But give a little credit right here to Ray Noriega. Instead of trying to pull that ball, he goes out and drives it. Shows you a little power to the opposite field. Good, powerful swing right there. And the breeze blowing that way aided that a little bit, but that ball was hit solidly.
There's a good look at him. A lot of contributions to this Miami club, and also give credit to his coach who moved him from the 9 to the 7 spot. Just trying to shake things up, as you mentioned earlier, Jim.
Multi-talented Ray Noriega. You look at the Miami yearbook, and there's a little caricature of each player next to his name, and that's the artwork of Ray Noriega.
By the head coach there. For Hurst tonight, flied out to the, popped out to the first baseman, then walked and scored the first run of the ball game.
Miami comes into this College World Series with a team that really specializes in getting on base by walks, singles, stealing bases.
Off the fist, and he fouls it back.
But the big blows for them so far have been the home run ball. The 2 two-run homers off Ben McDonald, and now the solo shot. That's just the 5th of the year for Ray Noriega. Uncharacteristic of Miami's team to win games with the long ball.
Two the count. 2 out. Top of the 6th. Canes knowing they got to keep it going, as do the LSU players. If the loser of this one is done in the tournament. Opposite side, that one is out of the park foul also.
That home run made Skip Bertman's decision a little tougher too. See, he would bring Ben McDonald into a tie game in the 7th or 8th inning. See once whether the Tigers would win it, but he would hate to bring him into a losing game right here. Of course, if they were to lose this ball game, they would go home, but he hates to bring him into a game and use him for 3 innings with his team behind. Both La Rosa and McDonald throwing down in the Tiger bullpen.
3-2 pitch. Strike 3. So the hits are even. 1 error apiece in the ball game. Craig Calla, the right fielder for the Tigers. You have to put an asterisk by his name on a very big play when Lim lost the ball earlier in the ball game, and Calla came all the way from right field and made the catch. Pitching breakdown in Will Vespi so far.
Good command of both the slider and the fastball, over 50%. Not changing speeds. That's not his game. You see Will's fastball as he got into the 4th and 5th inning really gets a little bit better. 2 strikeouts in the 4th, a big one in the 5th.
Rides high. It's 3-1.
That's a big hitter for him right here. See the loss of speed, the drop in speed right there. That 3-1 pitch, almost like he eased that one in to get it in the strike zone. Got a dangerous thing to do late in the game and behind the hitter. Important hitter for him to get because the next 2 hitters are left-handed.
Through for the base hit. Santangelo with an extra effort, making a diving stab. But Calla's on with a lead single in the 6th inning, and that's his day.
Big hitter for Will Vespi to get. 3-2 pitch. Calla gets those arms extended just enough to get it out of the reach of F.P. Santangelo. Good effort right here. But now with the left-hand hitters coming up for LSU, Henry Hernandez having to hold the runner. We've got a big hole to shoot at there between 1st and 2nd.
Ron Franklin and Jim Cott. Rosenblatt Stadium, Omaha, Nebraska. College World Series in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's 3-2. Miami over LSU in an elimination game. Gruber, the left fielder, walked in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th.
Now, we've said before, you know, the most important inning to a pitcher is after his team takes the lead. You like to get right back out there and get that other team out immediately, get your team back in at the plate. Kind of breaks the spirit a little bit of the team that's just given up the run. So it's a big inning for Vespi.
Over at first base, Craig Calla. single through on the left side to lead it off in the 6th.
Talk about that hole open between first and second. You see what Vespi and Hirsch are trying to do. Of course, the pitches are sent in by pitching coach Brad Kelly, trying to keep that ball out away from the left-hand hitter, trying to prevent him from pulling it.
Defensively, Miami has just signaled in from the bench. Also, John Vieira in center field took about 6 steps over to his right, which actually moves him over a little bit more to left center, shading in that direction anyway. And the outfield is deep because of the heart of the order of the LSU Tigers with Calla on first and now Gruber. Smoke LaBelle giving the signs. Will gather it for the first out.
Good job right there by Vespi, keeping the ball away from Gruber. Gruber not letting him pull it through the hole. I think he'll have a little tougher time with Bianco. Bianco with a little shorter, quicker swing. In fact, he's the guy now with 1 out. As he looks down at Smoke LaBelle, you're more apt to see LSU try to hit and run. Got to stay out of the double play.
One down, bottom of the 6th. 3-2, Miami leads. Calla with his lead at first base. Long drive to right. It is out of here. And the LSU Tigers go on top by 1.
Have done the damage tonight. Pete Bush with the big double in the 5th inning, and now Mike Bianco. Watch this short, quick, compact swing. Vespi doesn't get it out quite far enough. Gives the Tigers a lead, and quickly, you-know-who, as Bianco celebrates. Yeah, he knows it's out of here, and you-know-who gets up in the Tiger bullpen.
4-3, LSU on top. Tigers broke on top 1-0. Canes came back, scored 2 in the 5th to go on top 2-1. Then LSU tied it at 2. Miami went back on top 3-2, and now a 2-run homer by Bianco. Good ball game.
And there's Big Ben. Interesting decision for Skip Berkman to start the next inning. Don't think he'd like to use him for more than 2. See, he's not overusing him by having him throw. Quick appeal there to first base umpire Bob Jones. He said, no, he didn't go. This would be the normal night for McDonald to get a little throwing in the bullpen between starts anyway. So he's not overusing him if he just brings him in for an inning or 2. That 3rd inning can make a difference.
I think he said he wanted him to face only 4 batters tops. Wasn't that right?
4 or 5. And of course, you know, coaches say that, but when you get caught up in the emotion of the game and you want to win it, you tend to extend that a little bit. Mark LaRosa, the left-hander from LSU, had been throwing and has come into the Tiger bench. Now, the first hitter for Miami next inning would be John Vieira, and then when you turn the lineup over, you have some lefties too, so he may get the call in the 7th.
Ball 4. Espinosa at first. It'll bring up Ron Lim. the center fielder, still only one down in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the wheels are turning there because Ron Frazier has got a decision to make shortly.
Scott Schneiderwind. Yeah, here's a good hitter that we thought might start the game for LSU, Scott Schneiderwind. Comes in to pinch run for Espinoza. And that kind of tells you something of Skip Bertman's strategy. Want to try to use a little speed and stick another run on the board.
So Ron Frazier comes out of the dugout, and as we mentioned, the decision to make. Four to 3, LSU, and he has made the call.
Greg Knowles.
Espinoza. Glenn struck out in the 2nd. Laid down a sacrifice in the 5th.
Going to see a little different look from Greg Knowles than they saw from Vespi. Knowles, good sinking action on the fastball and a good curveball. Here's a youngster that was 9-2 last year as a freshman. No arm problems, just has not been effective this year.
That this afternoon Wichita State defeated Arkansas, sending them home. We're down to 5 teams. Wichita State will take on Florida State tomorrow evening. The winner of this one will play Texas on Thursday. Runner is going. Hit and run to the shortstop, Santangelo. His only play is to first.
Execution there on the part of LSU. Ron Lim, his job is just to put the ball in play, advance the runner, but the Hurricanes made the right decision. Left-hand hitter, they had Santangelo holding his ground at short. So instead of a 1st and 3rd situation, they at least got one out of the ground ball.
This man here has had a great night. Pete Bush at the plate. Singled in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th. So far for LSU, 5 for the Canes.
See FP Santangelo right there signaling in the sign to Chris Hirsch, whether they might try to pick Schneiderwind off second base. Also the sign to Greg Knowles. Usually late in the game, a close game like this, you'll play your outfielders deep guard against the extra base hit. But with a man on second, Ron Frazier has brought his outfielders, especially John Vieira and Noriega, in very shallow in right and center, trying to cut this run down on a base hit.
3-0 pitch, misses on that one. Walks in on 4 straight. The book on Knowles is falling behind on hitters. That's the 2nd walk given up this inning by Hurricane pitchers.
You know, last year was just the opposite. He had great command of the curveball, got ahead of hitters. It's the reason he was 9-2. Big right-hander warming in the Miami bullpen. Gives you an idea of the lack of depth in the Miami bullpen. Scott Schartz. Only been in a couple games this year. More of a hitting prospect.
Man at the plate is Tookie Johnson. has a 24-game hitting streak alive. Runners at first and second. Schneiderwin down at second. At first is Pete Bush. Gets through, and that is 25 games in a row for Johnson. Meanwhile, Schneiderwin will come home. To third base is Bush. And the Tigers go in front by a pair with runners at the corners.
Good hitting right here by Tookie Johnson. See that bit of an unusual stance. Takes the ball the other way. No chance for Trujillo. That ball was smoked. And Miami continues to have problems once they get by Joe Gray and Alex Fernandez and have to go to the bullpen.
Huge contingent here from the state of Louisiana. They got something to cheer about right now as their ball club has come up with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Greg Knowles will be a project this summer probably for pitching coach Brad Kelly. Can't come up with an explanation for why Knowles was so outstanding as a freshman. Just cannot get things together as a sophomore.
With the count even at 1. You look at the scoring book, everything from hitters 4 down has scored all 5 runs, and the bulk of the hits for the Tigers tonight. But I certainly don't want to leave out the last one that was just recorded, because Tookie Johnson, that's an excellent string of 25 games in a row.
Control problems here, right here. Here's one of the dangers with college pitchers in trying to get them to pitch to spots. You'll see Chris Hirsch give the indication in and out. You know, a lot of times with a good live young arm, you're better off just sitting right behind home plate and say, bring it on. Let the natural movement get the hitter out.
Attendance tonight, 14,000, and Jim, that is 1,600 over this session last year. They were already 27.93 ahead of last year's pace, which was a record pace. So the College World Series doing extremely well again this year in Omaha, Nebraska. Scott Schneiderwin, who came in as a pinch runner, and Luis Garcia comes into third. In the air to center. Lim is there for the first out.
Boy, and each of these outs are major for LSU because every out they get out of Russ Springer is one less they've got to use Ben McDonald, which is going to make him fresher for Thursday night's game. Springer has held his velocity throughout the game. You see him kind of peak there in the 3rd and 4th inning, but a good steady 88, 89 with some movement, and the New York Yankees have got to be happy about that, as thin as they are in pitching.
Trujillo back to the top of the order. Walk, strikeout, single. Scored the first run of the ball game for the Canes tonight. Alex Fernandez, who was on the hill last night, it also showed why.
Probably see him swing the bat before the night's over.
I started to say why he hit almost 500 in high school. He hit one to center field. In fact, on 2 batters, one of the guys from Miami was saying there were 2 pitches that were hit close to 700 feet, and they came up with absolutely empty. Olsen, the shortstop, 2 down.
joined us late. We mentioned the importance of this game. It's an elimination game and would set up another dream pitching matchup on Thursday. Texas Kirk Dressendorfer, some concern about the stiffness in his shoulder, but I have a feeling he'll be ready to go. And then Ben McDonald would be the LSU pitcher.
Miami 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. They trail 5-3.
Biggest out right here for Springer. Why? Get Santangelo with 2 down. You got Vespi leading off the next inning. You lose him. You got Vespi at the plate with a chance to tie the game. That swing right there. Exactly what Ron Frazier's talking about. He said every time Santangelo hits a home run, he thinks he's a home run hitter. Now he starts to try to jack the ball. That swing right there up in the strike zone.
Joe Gray looking on. Yeah, it'd be a dream matchup for him also, since that was Vieira right in front of him. Gray had an excellent outing against this LSU ball club in the opener this past weekend. Ben McDonald.
And Joe Gray's got a notch in his belt. He beat Ben McDonald the other night.
Foul back up here.
A lot of talk about the draft in the last couple days. Of course, it creates some excitement. It also creates some heartbreak for a lot of kids. Joe Gray happy about it. He went in the 2nd round with the Angels. Guys like F.P. Santangelo, guys dream of being big league ball players. Just hope somewhere down the line.
5 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. For Miami, 3 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. Scouts around the country about defensive third baseman, and they all rave about John Finn. That's Skip Bertman right there. Who's he talking to? Going down to have a chat with Ben McDonald, find out how he feels. What kind of warm-up period did he have? How many outs can you give me, Ben? You might need a couple tonight, but I want you ready for Thursday. Here he is on the bench. He's warmed up. Got the jacket on the right arm.
Well, you know, he's got a little something to prove here yet in Omaha. He's had a great career, but it's not been good in this stadium.
No, it hasn't, because of the infamous, or the thing that I'm sure he's tired of seeing, but the home run against him, which eliminated them by Stanford a couple of years ago, and then home run in the 1st, home run in the 3rd against Miami in his outing this past weekend. Hit by the pitch, and Grisham will be on.
Now we saw it happen last night to the Miami bullpen. Alex Fernandez, not a good outing as a starter, but once they got into that pen, game went up in smoke for Miami. Ended up 12-2 Texas.
Jim Miami's kind of stuck their chin out tonight as far as that goes. Putting the lead man on in the 1st, lead man on in the 2nd, lead man on in the 6th inning, and also in the 5th because of the error. And now here in the 7th. Keep doing that, it comes back to hunching.
Well, and the stats just in the College World Series will tell you that the winning teams have gotten the leadoff man on base well over 50% of the time. Losing teams only about 20%. There's so many things you can do. You get that first guy on, you can bunch, you can hit and run if he's got any kind of speed. You know, Grisham doesn't have bad speed. He's got 14 stolen bases on the year.
It's going to be out of play just beyond first base. Henry Hernandez giving chase over there.
Let me correct that. He has tried to steal 14 times. He's got 11 of them, but he has better than average speed.
5-3 LSU, bottom of the 7th. Nobody out. And Grisham, the leadoff batter, down to first, hit by the pitch.
Most of the time, and especially you try to do that here with the hole open between first and second. Greg Calla, very jammable. They try to run that fastball inside on his hands.
Pitch bounces away from Knowles, the pitcher, and it's going to be foul ball. It was off his foot. You see the English on that thing? Knowles' heart jumped up into his throat as he thought he was going to reach down and pick it up easily, and just bounced away from him.
You know, a lot of hitters that wear that shin guard off on the front leg, and this is the reason they do. Those pitches down and in, the breaking pitches that you swing down on. And that's one thing I have not seen any of the college hitters do, and that is a valuable piece of equipment. On the big league level now, more and more guys are using it every day, that shin pad to protect the shin guard, really, almost like a catcher wears.
3-2 pitch. 2-2 pitch, I beg your pardon. Now it goes full. Calla still painting a little bit after fouling that one off. Runner is going. That one is foul. So with nobody out, Grisham on the 3-2 pitch was off and running.
Wants him to throw over to first base. Whacks him on the head with the tag. Those signs. These signs all come in from Brad Kelly. Chris Hirsch will tell Greg Knowles to throw over there.
Good call, Mr. Cott.
Kind of flips that thumb over toward first base.
Count is full. Runner was going again, and he fouls off another pitch. LSU on top over Miami. We're bottom of the 7th inning. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott in Omaha for this 1989 College World Series. Calla with a base hit. Grisham round second, heading to third. Calla on his way to second, and with a head first slide, it's a double. The Tigers with runners at second and third, and nobody else.
You know, the way you get doubles on balls like that, Ron, is the very first step out of the box. You run hard to start with. Watch Greg Calla right there. Doesn't break stride. Now, he doesn't have great speed, but he doesn't hesitate. He's going for second.
And at the plate is Gruber. In the air to straightaway center. Vieira has it measured, but tagging to third is Grisham, and this is plenty deep enough that he will come home. That was Luis Garcia, I beg your pardon, who would come in at third base. Defensively, last inning. Luis Garcia.
Big run right there for LSU. Can't point out how important these extra runs are because, you know, you got to look ahead at winning the championship. If you can keep Ben McDonald out of this game tonight, your chances go up in that game on Thursday night. This will be, if it holds up, the first time Skip Bertman has ever beaten Ron Frazier here in Omaha. In fact, in 6 meetings. He's only beaten Miami 1 time.
Well, for those of you who watched Detroit defeat the Lakers in the opening game of the series tonight, welcome to Omaha, Nebraska. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott, bottom of the 7th. 6-3 LSU over Miami. The loser goes home. The winner will face off with Texas on Thursday evening. LSU Tigers leading this one. They have 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Imagine, we're talking about College World Series jitters. You imagine the feelings of this young man, Jim West, only 9 innings all year as a freshman. Here he finds himself in a chance to get out of a jam to at least give Miami an opportunity to win this game. Still got a few cracks at him.
Infield is playing way in with 1 out. And a runner at third base in Craig Calla. Bianco with a count of 3-1.
Strategy between Skip Bertman and Scott Schneiderwind. He's in the on-deck circle. Ronnie Lim. Good scientific baseball, but you're going to see country hardball in this pitch right here. 3-1 count. Mike Bianco looking for a fastball.
Down in the dirt, ball 4. He's lost it. Hurst can't find it, and at the plate they got him. Calla is tagged out. A quick reaction by Hurst to get back and make the throw, and they get Calla at the plate.
Boy, we have really seen some great athletic ability in the last 2 nights on the part of pitchers. Brian Dare came down last night on a short pass ball. Can't really call it a pass ball because they got the runner out and covered home plate. And now Jim West on the run makes the catch. Quick tag. Blocked off home plate umpire Bob Roberts for a second there, but he was still able to see the play and make the call. Not as easy as it looks coming down full speed, catch the ball and still pick up the runner and make the tag.
Schneiderwind swings and misses. While all that was going on, Mike Bianco had taken ball 4, went down to first base, and hit the action at home plate. So 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Runner at first, Mike Bianco. Discussion now between second base umpire Dale Williams and the home plate umpire. .6-3 LSU on top. 9 hits for the Tigers, 5 for the Hurricanes.
Got the 10 walks and 8 strikeouts, and the strikeouts probably on this good curveball. This is what it looks like. Good late downer. I think if Skip Bertman guesses that West throws that pitch right here, you got to send Bianco. Try to get an extra run in the winner's bracket. Now, well, they had it right. They had it right, and the only reason LSU on top in this ball game is Miami didn't get the performance out of their number 2 starter last night that they hoped they would.
That and Craig Newkirk.
Yeah, you get into pitching depth, and you got a number 3 starter like Russ Springer, who I think you'd have to say the best number 3 starter in the country on a college team. And that kind of swings that advantage LSU's way. I don't think there's any other staff had a number 3 starter drafted in the 2nd round. 113 pitches, has not pitched a complete game since back on May 7th against Auburn.
Busby grounds it foul down the first base side, and the count is even at 2.
Now I'm seeing, I can't say an all-time first, but it has to be a long time. Ben McDonald's in the bullpen warming up with his jacket on. Most of the time, you know, you warm up and then you put the jacket on to keep yourself from stiffening up. Well, he heard he's going to take it off.
Vespi with a high fly ball to left. Schneiderman coming in and makes the grab for the first out.
And the other difficult thing for McDonald, now he may not get in this ball game, but if he's asked to get up and down 2 or 3 times.
The graphic right there says a great deal as far as the gentleman from Baton Rouge. 46-0 and leading after 7 innings. We're in the top of the 8th right now. 1 down. And Henry Hernandez flied out in the first, flied out in the 4th, and then hit into a double play in the 5th.
Talking about McDonald, if you have to get up and down 2 or 3 times, that takes as much out of you as sometimes coming in to pitch a couple innings. So. Thing that Bertman would have to guard against right here is getting McDonald up like 2 or 3 times, which he's done, and then all of a sudden bring him in the 9th inning. You're better off if he either got him in right now and used him or didn't have to use him at all.
2-0 pitch, strike call. By the way, Jim, let's clarify for people who might be sitting at home saying, wait a minute, Vespi went 5 1/3, they took him out. How did he just bat? In college baseball, when the lineup is taken in, if it's pitcher / DH, then he's not gone when he comes out. Two. 1 out, top of the 8th. LSU 6. Miami 3. Skip Bertman not resting easy, but easier than he was 3 innings ago when his ball club was down. Solidly hit. Lim running back, and he can't get it over his head. Will go for at least 2 as Hernandez pulls up at second base, and it's a 1-out double for Henry Hernandez.
Ronnie Lim is saying, hey, that baby took off. Now we've said Hernandez has had a great series swinging the bat. Way away from the plate, but strides into the ball. And Springer doesn't get that one away quite far enough. Lim, no chance to catch up with that one. That shot of Skip Bertman in the dugout. You know, this for him is like an off night for a starting pitcher. He's used to calling all the signs in every game, but he doesn't do that nights that Russ Springer pitches.
The Canes' third baseman. Dillon with decent numbers, but it has not been a good start so far for him in the College World Series. Pulled the string on that one, and the count goes even at 1. Hernandez down at second with a 1-out double. We talked early on in the ballgame about he has been hitting the ball so very hard, but at people. And that time he hit it at Lim, but over his head. Mike Hind is on deck for the Canes. Ron Frazier saw his ball club fall out of the winner's bracket last night, and he also saw them 9 times in the ball game with runners in scoring position, and only 1 time did they come through.
I see Doolin trying to be a patient hitter at the plate and get the left-hand hitter Hind in the batter's box. That would be the tying run. Getting a little short on outs here for the Canes.
On the ground to the third baseman, Garcia. Hernandez stays at second. Doolin is gone, and we have 2 out in the 8th. Tosar 303. He has 2 4-hit games in 1 week this season.
Well, if he could drag a bunt, that's his play right here. You got Pete Bush and Tookie Johnson way back at first and second.
Garcia creeping in on the edge of the grass at third. Breaking pitch, same spot, and he's in front 0-2.
Now you got 2.
Ron Lim, the center fielder, will lead it off. Gino DeMari, the new left fielder for the Canes.
It sounds like if he doesn't make it in baseball, that'd be a great name for a singer. Doesn't that kind of have a ring to it, like he'd be a singer, Gino DeMari or Volare or something like that? Has a little ring to it.
Strike ball. The count goes even at 1. Yes, it does.
Yeah, he's got a Jim West, the freshman pitcher, has a nice confident air about him on the mound. Not great numbers on the year, but good breaking ball we saw from him last inning.
Lim still looking for his first hit on the night. West with a fastball in the inside corner, and it goes even.
See a lot of the LSU hitters use that same approach as Ron Lim does with that front foot. Heel off the ground, kind of toed in to try to keep the weight back.
Jose Trujillo. 1 gone at the bottom of the 8th.
I tell you, you can't read the label on it or take a step back with Ron Lim in the batter's box. He gets down to first. I mean, that's a routine ground ball to second, and he's out by a half a step.
Number 9 hitter, Pete Bush. 2 for 2 for him tonight. Single double, and he walked to the 6th.
I would not put Ron Lim in the pro prospect category, but we're seeing in the draft in recent years much more emphasis on drafting athletes with great speed, you know, regardless of their baseball experience. The Rangers with that surprise pick with Donald Harris from down your way. 4.4 speed in the 40. Deion Sanders would be an example of that. Bo Jackson. Strike called. Jackson has the power to go along with the speed.
The youngster you're talking about who's going to the Rangers from Texas Tech has another year eligibility left in football, but understand since he is married, in an article that I wrote, that going that high on the draft, that he might take that. And of course, in the NCAA rules, Jim, he still would be eligible to play football.
Well, I think obviously the Rangers would have researched that, and I think the word is that he's kind of committed to them that he would play baseball, which is why he went high in the draft, and he was a surprise pick. Most other organizations thought he'd continue to play football.
Full count, 1 out. Henry Hernandez.
Boy, we've seen a lot of improvement from Henry Hernandez. Over the years watching Miami, he's always known as a late inning defensive replacement, but he's shown as he can swing the bat a little. I know we're down 6-3, last inning elimination game, still having a good time. Got a smile on his face.
Tookie Johnson kept that hitting string alive tonight. Now 25 games straight. Because of all the conversation about pitching on this LSU team, I think Johnson maybe have been kind of lost in the shuffle, but his accomplishments have been really good.
Yeah, you know, with McDonald getting all the ink, you forget that LSU, though not a strong team in the field, has a team batting average of .299. Two guys in their lineup they really look to for power. Grisham and Callum. They got some average hitters.
High fly to left field. Gino Russ Springer has gone the distance and has done a magnificent job against the Canes tonight.
Boy, and what a job. Here's a guy has one complete game on the year coming off the arm surgery we referred to, but talk about his arm. Last year led the SEC in strikeouts.
Grounder to the right side. Bush by himself. One gone.
In fact, I think, you know, being drafted yesterday, getting the draft out of the way, kind of living or pitching in the shadow of Ben McDonald has helped Russ Springer. Kind of sneaks up on people. You know, you think LSU, you talk Ben McDonald, you don't think about Russ Springer. And here's a guy 2 outs away from pitching the biggest win in his college career. Nice way to launch yourself into a pro career.
Well, after this performance tonight, you see why Skip Bertman was so adamant about, no, I would not come back with McDonald, that I've got myself a number 3. Fabregas, the pinch hitter for Hirsch. One down, top of the 9th. LSU leading by 3. Winner faces Texas on Thursday night. Rally caps are on at that Miami bench. Tomorrow night, Wichita State against Florida State. Florida State and Texas, the only 2 teams left undefeated in this year's College World Series right now. Earlier today, Wichita State eliminated Arkansas, thus gaining entry into that game with Florida State tomorrow night. Behind 3-0. Skip Bertman was a coach down at Miami for 8 years. He has known Ron Frazier for a long time, well over a quarter of a century for that matter. They are very good friends. But Skip Bertman has never beaten Ron Frazier in a College World Series game. Has 2 outs away and an opportunity to do it tonight.
See that 15 on Skip Bertman's back. That number was retired in Miami. That was the number he wore in Miami and had his number retired as a coach. We're going to see it again. I think he said, I'm going to bring Big Ben in to close this baby down. That's the 135th pitch that Russ Springer has thrown tonight. As close as they pay, as close attention as they pay to pitch count, that could very well be the ceiling he put on Springer tonight. 135.
Don Robinson, who came in to pinch hit last night in the Texas game, has gone in replacing Fabregas as the pinch runner down at first. Don Robinson, number 34. And coming in, Ben McDonald, replacing Russ Springer.
Well, he came in to get 1 out at College Station to close down the regional win. And he's got to get 2 of them here.
Monday, Ben McDonald, 6'7" right-hander, 14-3, 3 saves, 2.91 ERA.
The walks and strikeouts. Look at the ratio right there. Between 5 and 6 to 1. A little camaraderie there between Skip Bertman and Ron Frazier. kidding before the College World Series started. At the press conference, Ron said since Skip was his assistant, he had one last bit of advice for him. Just warming up. Ben's got it up to 89, and Ron's advice was keep McDonald out of the first game. I think that'll help you a lot. Of course, trying to keep McDonald from pitching against the Hurricanes. What do? They turn around and beat him.
Situation, Don Robinson, the pinch runner at first. 1 out. Top of the 9th inning. LSU leading by 3. John Biero, the fine center fielder for Miami.
Well, he warmed it up at 89, but his first pitch to Vieira, 93. They didn't like that call. Yeah, they thought that was a little high. Ben
came on the telecast with us on Monday evening to discuss being selected in the draft and talked about the amount of pressure that it has finally taken off him. Breaking pitch at 75 miles an hour.
Well, he's been quiet for the whole game, but now he's got to go to work, send the pitches in. Such a tough pitch for left-hand hitters to lay off from. You know, you sit at home and say, why in the world do you swing at that ball? It's out of the strike zone. But to the hitter, it looks like it's going to be maybe a little above the waist. Has just a little bit of explosion at the end of it.
1-2, the red dot, representing Don Robinson at first. Hurricanes need 3 to keep it alive, 4 to win. Strike 3 call, 2 gone in the night.
It hasn't been pleasant for Gentle Ben in Omaha. And he wants to close this one down. Showing a little emotion here. Yeah. All right. Not only great speed, but that control. Stuck that right on the outside corner.
Trujillo, top of the order. And it goes even. Could be his last attempt wearing that uniform.
He's had a tremendous career for him. Played shortstop early in his career, now second base.
Fouled off the home plate umpire's mask. Jim, with a pitch that is going at, that's got to be like a jab to your face, even with the mask on, isn't it?
Shock you for a couple paces. See right there, Skip says, keep it down. You know, Trujillo gets on. He's going to be looking at the 2 guys that reached him for a home run the other night, Santangelo and Besby.
Cry went out to Pete Bush. Hold him on.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, a 6-3 ball game. Who cares if he steals second base? Bush ought to be off the line, back in position to field a ground ball. That stolen base didn't mean anything.
1-2 pitch, strike 3. McDonald comes in as Russ Springer went 8 1/3, and the LSU Tigers will take on the Texas Longhorns on Thursday evening here in Omaha, Nebraska. 6-3, the final score. Alex Fernandez, last year's starting pitcher. You could see him put his head in his hand. And now the traditional handshake between the 2 ball clubs. Alfredo's players of the game. Russ Springer of LSU. And for Miami, Ray Noriega. We'll show you that last out. And we'll be back at Rosenblatt Stadium for game number 11 of the College World Series between. This one is history, and LSU will take on Texas. We'll be right back.